Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Cherie Ibrahim. I'm the Chromatography Business Development Manager at Büchi Corporation in North America. Today we're going to be discussing the use of chromatography in cannabis and hemp processing. Here's what's on the agenda today. We're going to be discussing the background of cannabis, learning about the Pure chromatography system and separation, benefits of the ELSD detector for terpenes, benefits of PrEP Hplc in removal of minor cannabinoids, isolation of cannabinoids from flower and concentrates, and finally separation of undesired components including THC and pesticides. Let's take a look at the cannabis plant. It is a complex plant with over 400 chemical entities, of which more than 60 of them are cannabinoid compounds. We have waxes, fats, sugar, pigments, chlorophyll, lots of stuff in there with opposing effects. There are also contamination in cannabis, and they primarily come from environment and pollution. We have biological contaminants, fungi, bacteria, endotoxins. We also have agrochemical agent contaminants such as pesticides, and that will be one of the topics we'll be discussing in this webinar. We also have organic solvents and heavy metals. It's important to realize that the plant has so much to offer. For example, if you're a patient, it's considered medicine. If you're a smoker, you look at it as a recreational with a happy effect. And if you're a businessman, you see it as profit. And if you're a chemist, you see it as research. In this slide, we have a workflow diagram that shows where the cannabinoid separation step comes in. To your right, we have the cannabis cultivation, followed by the cannabinoid extraction. That's where you can use supercritical CO2 or ethanol. Now we have the extract concentration on the rotovap to achieve an oil. The oil is now going to be loaded on the chromatography instrument to separate your desired product, whether it's CBD or THC. It's important to understand in this step, we're going to be diluting our fraction in solvent. So we have to put those fractions back on the rotovap to remove the solvent and obtain our final clean product. Today's topic is chromatography. Some of you might not be familiar with this term, but chromatography simply means separation. It's a laboratory technique used to separate complex mixture of compounds. First, the mixture is dissolved in a fluid called the mobile phase, which carries it through a structure holding another material called the stationary phase. So the stationary phase here is going to be our cartridge. The various constituents of the material travel at different speeds, causing them to separate. So if you take a look at the photo below, it shows the different adsorption and desorption properties. And those are the yellow, lime, and red dots. And these little dots are equivalent to the different components in your oil. And they would separate based on polarity of the mobile phase and the compound. And as these separate, they all have different polarity, therefore they elute at different speeds. Flash and prep chromatography offer different benefits. Flash chromatography allows you to run at a much larger sample volume and allows for qualitative purification, versus prep chromatography is excellent for separating small quantities. Both are well-established techniques used analytically and for testing. They've been used in the pharmaceutical and chemical industries for decades. Within the cannabis and hemp industry, our customers are using this equipment for isolate production, so THC removal and CBD distillate and pesticide remediation. Our Pure system allows the user to run approximately 1 to 1.5 kilos of oil per workday. And per workday means 8 to 10 hours. So for customers who want to separate more than just CBD and THC, we recommend the Pure Prep, as it allows for a greater resolution separation and collection of a greater range of cannabinoids. But if you're just looking to separate CBD or THC, flash chromatography is just fine. There are several different applications on how chromatography is used in cannabis extracts. First is for isolation of desired cannabinoids such as CBD, THC, focusing on purity. Second, it's for separation of undesired components. So removal of THC for medicinal purposes, enriching potency of desired components, improving color clarity of a product in vape oil or shatter, removal of contaminants such as pesticides. Third application is for edible sample preparation. Before we do analytical testing for edible samples, we can use flash chromatography to prepare the sample and remove fat and waxes which may affect the final testing result. In this slide, we have our most commonly used models in the cannabis and hemp industry. To your left, we have this Pure C810 flash mode. This is an entry-level flash system, runs at a 250 mil flow rate, 50 bar. This has a UV detector in it. This is an excellent system for separation of CBD and THC. Our next model is the C815. It is a flash chromatography system. It has a UV and an ELSD detector. We will talk later about what the ELSD detector is used for. Same flow rate, 250 mils per minute, 50 bar. Now, the Pure C850 is a little bit different. So it has the flash components that we just spoke about, same flow rate, same pressure, but it also has a preparative Hplc mode to it. So it allows you to separate minor cannabinoids in prep Hplc mode. So the flow rate here is 100 mils per minute and 300 bar for prep mode. Flash mode remains the same, 250 mils per minute, 50 bar. Here's what the Pure chromatography system looks like. It is a very compact system, small footprint, about 68 centimeters high, 57 centimeters deep, and 36 centimeters wide. This instrument does not need to be placed in the fume hood because it has active ventilation, and you have remote control access. So what that really means is you can download the software application on your computer or your iPhone, and you have full visibility of the software where you can monitor, change your gradient. So you can see the front of the instrument. You have easy access to the pumps, injection valves, and any tubing for servicing. This instrument has an auto recognition for the cartridges and the racks, along with waste and vapor sensors. And this is important to highlight because this minimizes concerns of spilling and leakage. Instrument also has a solvent safety alarm that warns you if the solvent is running low. And finally, this instrument is large scale friendly. So we have funnel racks available, and we also have cartridges up to 3.2 kilograms. I mentioned earlier that we have a flash purification system that has an ELSD detector. So I wanted to talk about some of the benefits of the ELSD in flash chromatography. ELSD allow you to see and purify compounds that are not UV active molecules. So for example, terpenes don't have a chromophore. So if you were using an instrument with a UV detector, you would not be able to see the terpenes in your purification. So here you have visibility of the terpenes by using the ELSD detector. Along with that, you can see any impurities that is not absorbed by UV. And the ELSD gives you more accurate indication of relative quantities, and it gives you the freedom to choose UV absorbing solvent. Büchi also offers a PrEP Hplc chromatography system. This is an excellent system to separate small sample amounts with high complexity. For example, separation of minor cannabinoids such as CBN, CBV, and CBC can be challenging to separate by flash because they're low concentration and close to higher concentration cannabinoids. In this situation, I'd highly recommend the PrEP Hplc to achieve successful purification of minor cannabinoids that cannot be achieved on flash chromatography systems. Here is what the instrument looks like in the cannabis laboratory. To your left, you have the instrument. That's the C810 model, flash mode. And attached to it is the 3.2 kilogram cartridge. In order to get the oil on the column, we recommend the sampling pump. And then for collection, we offer funnel racks. That's a very nice way to collect your sample and avoid changing jars. You can simply put your funnel rack inside of the instrument, attach a tubing to it, and drain it into a container or a vessel to avoid switching out. So in a production site, this would be a very useful way to not change out components during multiple runs. And here's a virtual tour of the Pure chromatography systems. It highlights all the features we talked about earlier, and it gives you a live view of what the instrument truly looks like. Let's talk about some applications that we did in the last few years. Büchi spent quite a bit of time developing applications and methods in the cannabis area. Cannabinoids are found to be the most interest components that most people want to extract from the plant. For example, THC is a psychoactive cannabinoid. CBD is used for medicinal applications. In 1964, Raphael Mechlin discovered the chemical structure of THC molecule, shown here below. Besides THC and CBD, there are other cannabinoids that are very interesting. For example, acid formates such as THCA, CBDA, CBGA. There's also other minor cannabinoids that have a lot of benefits, such as CBG, CBN. This is the medical study overview of different cannabinoids. In blue, you will find the benefits of CBD, such as it relieves pain, anxiety, while other minor cannabinoids offer treatment for different applications. CBN, for example, aids in sleep, while CBG promotes bone growth. This is an experiment that we did. That's isolation of cannabinoids from the flower extract. We used ethanol to extract the flower, injected the oil onto the purification system to obtain the separation of the different components. We collected the THCA fraction and confirmed purity by Hplc at 99.7%. So very clean product. This is another experiment that we did, which is isolation of cannabinoids from concentrate. You see the product here is high in THC and THCA, along with other undesired components. We performed the separation to successfully separate the THC fraction and obtained a purity of greater than 95% by Hplc. This is a successful separation of THCA crystal. On your left side, there is a beaker that contains the cannabis raw extract, and after purification, we got THCA crystal, that's on the top right, and THC, which is on the bottom right. We did some research on CBD oil, so we purchased CBD oil from the market to do the separation. We were able to separate THCV, CBDA, CBD, and CBC. And as you could see here, the separation was successful and we obtained a very pure CBD purity. One of the biggest applications in flash chromatography is removal of THC from CBD. This is because THC is still considered illegal in many states. If you want to make medicinal CBD oil, then THC must be under 0.3%. This is the final product on the right side. If you have terpenes, then the product will be more oil. If you have low or no terpenes, then it will crystallize. This is the testing report for THC-free CBD oil. On the top we have the starting material coming from the CO2 extraction hemp oil at 74.9% CBD and 3% THC. After processing with the flash chromatography instrument, we have undetectable levels of THC and the purity of CBD is much higher, around 96%. Here's a case study from one of our customers. The customer name is Extract Lab, located in Boulder, Colorado, and their application is THC-free CBD. Here is a comment from their CEO. We no longer need to worry about THC contamination in our final product due to the consistency of the purification platform. The system is efficient, compact, and allows us to increase our product recovery substantially. They highlight that this instrument is simple interface, robust hardware, and consistent performance. Edibles. Folks use cannabis to make edibles, such as brownies, cookies, drinks, and gummies. Edibles require testing for cannabinoids, and the challenge of testing is that sometimes the sample can have a higher or lower cannabinoid concentration because it's not homogeneous. It could also include other compounds such as fat or sugars, which affects the final result. You can use flash chromatography as a sample preparation method before testing. In this experiment, we worked with a brownie. We grind the brownie and put it into a solid loader cartridge. We used solvent to wash the cartridge, and the solvent would carry the product into the column, as you can see in the photo below. We also pack silica in the column because that takes off the sugar and the wax. With this process, you can remove some of the contamination and extract cannabinoids from the edible. Here's the final product after flash purification cleanup. You can now see the peaks of CBD, THC, and CBN, and it's much easier to do the Hplc testing. Our last topic is pesticides, which is a very big topic in cannabis. This is a list of pesticides from one of our testing labs. You can see the frequency of different pesticides detected in cannabis. This is the pesticide residue tolerance for different states. As you can see, California has the cleanest product in the country, with very, very low levels of pesticides, while Oregon and Washington are similar. Other states such as Massachusetts and Nevada don't have all the pesticides regulations just yet. We use the chemical property differences between pesticides and cannabinoids, such as boiling point, density, solubility, polarity, in order to separate them. It's important to understand that pesticides are not a single compound. It is a group of compounds, as I've shown you on the previous slide, and they may require multiple methods and steps to remove. For example, liquid-liquid extraction, distillation, and absorption are all possible methods. Flash chromatography has been proven to remove most pesticides efficiently. However, we still have a challenge for those pesticides with close polarity to cannabinoids, and this may require multiple steps or other method to pre-clean and reduce the recovery. Here's an article that we published about pesticide removal. I highly encourage you to click on it and read it. It is very informative. Here's an application that we did. Pesticide removal from distillate, before and after flash chromatography. On your left-hand side is before chromatography, and on your right-hand side is after chromatography. As you can see, we have high levels of malathion, spironolactone, and other pesticides highlighted as pale in red. However, after flash purification, many pesticides are showing non-detectable levels, and some have been removed significantly. Even for permethrin, we still have low levels, showing 350 parts per billion. This one is difficult to remove because of its close polarity to THC. We still removed a significant amount, even lower than the California regulation. We are coming to an end here with our conclusion slide. The pure chromatography systems are useful and powerful tools in the cannabis and hemp industry. The instrument is simple, safe to operate, and has scale-up capabilities. You can use the ELSD for terpene detections. You can use the PrEP Hplc to remove minor cannabinoids. You can isolate desired cannabinoids such as THC and CBD, focusing on purity, and separate undesired components and pesticides. You can produce oil within a day of installation. At Büchi here, we have quite a bit of experience in the industry, and we have established method to help you be more successful. Thank you for attending the webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to email the email address on the slide or visit our website for additional product information. Thank you and have a great day.